Hey everybody, welcome back to 2 Acres Evolving. Today I am going to be doing a couple of things. As you can see, I have my Canna plants here that I have started in this seed starting tray, and I'm finally able to get out here and get these potted up. I may have waited a little too long to pot these up. Some of them are struggling a little bit, but I'm going to pot all these up even if they're struggling and see how they do. I've potted up a few of them. A couple of them I don't think are going to make it, and I'll show you those here in a little bit after I get these potted. But basically all I'm going to be doing is, I've got some potting mix here, and I'm going to be using these cheap plastic cups that I got from Walmart. Basically all I have to do is come in and cut drain holes. And I do one on each side, and then I just fill them up with soil and pop these up in this. I don't know if I'm going to have to bump these up into another container, a larger container later on. I may be able to just plant these right in the ground from these cups. I'll have to wait and see. If they get too crazy root bound, then I'll just pot them up into a maybe a gallon sized pot. Anytime I buy new plants or anything, I always keep the containers because I can always use them. So I've got plenty of the gallon sized pots, but I think these are going to do just fine. So let me get you a little bit closer and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to be doing, and then I'll speed the process up. So to do this, all I am going to be using are the cups, and then I have this glass of water right here. I'm going to be using this water to separate the cells that have 2 plants in them. I have quite a few that grew 2 plants because the first 5 rows, if you remember from my video where I planted these, the first 5 rows I planted 2 seeds, and a lot of them came up with 2 plants. So these cells are pretty root bound right now. So what I'm going to be doing with this glass of water is putting the root ball down in the glass of water to break up the soil, and that way it'll be easier for me to split the plants apart and plant them in their own cups. So I kind of want to do that up close here so you all can see. So I think I'm going to work with this cell right here. It's got 2 pretty good sized plants in it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up, kind of squeeze the cell a little bit to loosen it up, and then I should be able to just pop this right out. And look, this has quite a few roots on it, so they are doing really good. So now what I'm going to do is fill these 2 plastic cups up with soil, and then I'm going to dip these down in the water and see how easy it is to separate these and then get them potted up. If I dump this in water and the roots are still tangled and they're still really hard to get apart, I may just plant 2 plants in 1 cup. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've got 2 cups full of soil here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dunk these in the water. See if I can get them apart. I did some the other day, and they were pretty easy to get apart, but they weren't as root bound as this. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so I got them apart here. So now I'm just going to plant them up in their own cups. Okay, so it was starting to be a little bit of a mess, so I went and got one of my extra plastic trays. So now I'm just going to pot these up in their own cups. Okay, so I got the first 2 potted up, so basically that's what I'm going to be doing with all of these, and then I will stick them under the grow light until the weather warms up in the springtime and I can plant them out in the landscape. Okay, so I've potted up all the cells that had 2 plants in them. I've got them separated. I don't know if you'll notice or not, but I quit dunking them in the water to split up the roots. I just went in and used my fingers to separate them, and it was a whole lot easier to do it that way. So I was just a little worried about disturbing the roots, but it was pretty easy to get them separated, so I ditched the water idea. These over here are the ones that I potted up the other day that were struggling in the cells. And that one in the back, it will probably be okay, but the other 5, they're probably not going to make it. But that's okay. I have quite a few more that are going to make it. So right now I have, out of the ones that I potted up today, I have 26 so far potted up. And then 27 with the one back there in the corner. So now all these have 1 in each cell. I'm going to go in and just pop these out and just plant the entire cell in the cups. I got them all potted up now, and I have a total of 67 plants. Now, considering the only money I have in these is the soil and the cups, I calculated it and I have about maybe 15 cents per plant. I think it's awesome that I can harvest seeds from my own garden and get so many plants out of them. So what I'm going to do now is I have this squirt bottle. I'm going to take the lid off of it and I'm going to water these in really good. I'm just going to use this to pour the water out into the plants. And I've got some solid trays here that I have them sitting in so the water will not leak down onto the lights or anything like that. Okay, so it's the next day now. I was out here pretty late last night getting these potted up, so I didn't have time to start the new seeds that I wanted to start, so I thought I'd come out here and finish that up today. So I'll go ahead and flip the camera around and I'll show you the seeds that I'm going to be starting today. Okay, so here's my next setup. I have a seed starting tray. I've got my seed starting mix. I've got my bowl where I'm going to mix it in with the water. And then here's the seeds that I'm going to be starting. I have some Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, lettuce, and spinach. So since I have 5 different seeds, I'm just going to do 2 rows of each, and then I will probably have 2 empty rows on the end. So I probably won't put any seed starting mix in the last 2. Okay, so I decided not to plant the spinach. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to direct sow them in the ground later on when it gets a little bit warmer. So I actually only have 4 seed packets that I'm going to be planting today, and it's a good thing too because I ran out of seed starting mix, so this is working out perfect. So I'll still have 2 rows for the Brussels sprouts, 2 rows for the broccoli, 2 rows for the cabbage, and 2 rows for the lettuce. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and poke a hole in the middle of each cell, and then I will go in and put 2 to 3 seeds in each cell. Now you probably noticed that I got the seed starting mix wet before I put it in here. That's the easiest way to do it, because if you put the seed starting mix in the tray and then pour water over it, the seed starting mix the water will sit on top of it for a while, and it's a lot easier to mix it up with the water and then put it in the tray. And then once I get all the seeds planted, I will put a humidity dome over it and then put it under a grow light. Pretty much it for this video. The main thing that I wanted to get done in this video was the canna plants. I desperately needed to get those potted up, so I'm really happy that I was able to get that done, and I'm happy to get a jump start on some early spring vegetable plants. Those plants, they germinate, most of them germinate around the same time, anywhere from 7 to 15 days, so I'm not too worried about all of them being in the same trade together. I did that last year and didn't have any problems at all with them germinating or anything like that. Once all of those vegetable plants sprout up, I will be sure to take the humidity dome off, and I always have air circulation out in this building just to avoid any fungus problems or anything like that. We're supposed to get a winter storm in the middle of this week, and I'm a little worried about it because the only heat source that I have out here is with electric, and they're saying that we could possibly have some power outages. So I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on that. If my power goes out, I am going to have to come out here and move all these plants into my house because I have a fireplace in my house. So I'll be able to keep them warm in there. But anyway, I really hope you all enjoyed this video. With all these plants and seed starting and everything, needless to say, I'm ready for spring. After this winter storm, we're supposed to get a lot of snow. I have a feeling that once all that snow is gone, I'm gonna want winter to be over with. But I really appreciate you all watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.